Welcome back to the next iteration in this Davinci Resolve course. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a field trip in that we're going to be talking about speed ramps. I figured I would throw this one in as it is something that could be something to make your editing process more fun and enjoyable, and I think that you guys would find this to be valuable in your more high level editing projects. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the software and let's go ahead and get started. So here we are in Davinci Resolve, and first off, all you need to do is go ahead and create a new timeline. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by simply clicking on the plus symbol right here and click on a new timeline. And then you should be presented with select the timeline. If you don't see this, simply just click on this icon right here, and then you can go to timeline view options. You can change this from no tabs to tabs, okay? Now we need a clip to work with, so let's go over here to our contents folder and let's see what we've got. I think the best thing to work with speed ramps is clips that are 60 frames per second. Okay, now you probably wonder, well, how did I know that that was 60 frames per second before I dragged that in? Well, simply if you click on this little eye right here on the bottom right corner of any clip, you're going to actually get some clip details. And in that clip details, it should include the details of the clip. Now I did that on the timeline, so it's giving me the details of the timeline. But here is the actual clip right here. If you click on the eye now you can see that it is 59.9 frames per second or 60 frames per second. So basically, anytime you do any slow motion stuff, you want to deal with footage that is at least 60 frames per second. I will teach you guys in another video on how you can slow motion any video at any frame rate, but for right now we're going to keep everything simple and let's stick with those that are 60 frames per second if you have one. But if you don't, you can download some on stock footage as well too to work with. All right, let's jump back into the software. All right, so here we are working with our 60 frames per second, and we're going to go ahead and drag and drop this into our timeline like such, and that's how we get our footage into our timeline. Now, of course, I want this clip to start when I'm actually moving here on the one wheel, so probably somewhere around here when I actually start going. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this off by hitting Q on the keyboard. If you guys don't know what I'm doing and how I was able to do that in one click of a button, definitely look up my video number 2 where I give you guys some keyboard customization to explain what I just did. And then we're going to go ahead and scroll over to the top or to the end, and we're going to bring the video clip to here as well. When I kind of look back, we're going to hit W on the keyboard to kind of clip the end there. Okay, again, video number 2 to learn about those keyboard customization options. All right, so now we just have our clip here. This is all we needed. We just needed something to work with, right? So if you hold Alt on the keyboard and scroll down with your mouse wheel, you can actually zoom out a little bit and you can see our clip now from beginning to end. Okay, from beginning to end. Now what we need to do is, I wanted to show you guys first off, there's another way to see that information that we saw earlier with the frame rate information. So if you go ahead and click on the clip right here and you go over here to your inspector on the right hand side and you go over to file, the file portion, you can actually see all the details about the file that you're working with. Okay, and right now obviously we are working with a 60 frames per second. You can see the resolution, you can see it's 42210-bit codec, and or color, bit depth, and everything like that. So you pretty much can see everything right here in the inspector tab. Now that's important because, like I said, you need to work with 60 frames per second in order for this to work optimally. All right, now let's get into the crux of today's lesson. Now that we have everything set up by just bringing in footage, and let's go ahead and click on our clip here, and let's go ahead and hit Control. You know what? I'm not gonna show you that way yet. I'm not gonna show you that way. Let me cut that out. Let me show you guys 2 ways to actually do this. So one way to control the speed of your clip is actually in the inspector. You probably guys are wondering, like, man, there's a lot you can do in that inspector. Yes, you can. So if you go ahead and click on the video portion of the video clip here, now that we're not on the file, we're on the video portion. Then scroll down to the very bottom. And you notice it says speed change here. Okay, you can click and expand this, and you can actually change the speed of your clip. So 100% speed is moving at the exact percent, that's the normal speed. But if you start slowing it down in percentage, that's slowing down the footage. Okay, so let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's take this clip and let's slow it down to 50%, somewhere around in there. And now you'll see that the clip takes place in slow motion now. You can see I'm moving a lot slower than I normally was. If we hit this little rotational arrow here, we can reset this back to normal, and you can really see, in fact, that I really was moving in slow motion, as you can see. So, and then of course you can speed it up, right? You can speed it up to like 110 or 15, and you can make this look even more faster, right? More intense. So as you guys can see, you can do a lot of things with slow motion or with time or with this speed change option. But maybe you're like, okay, Chris, what I want to do is I want it to be slow at a certain part, but then fast at another. Well, that's called a speed ramp. And that's exactly what I wanted to show you guys today, because what we're doing right here is changing the speed of the entire clip. All right. So a speed ramp, we're going to go ahead and reset this by clicking on the reset speed change here, like I did earlier. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the clip like normal. And let's actually get a little closer, because you're going to need to be able to see this a lot closer. So hold Alt on the keyboard and then scroll with your mouse wheel upward or inward to get this a little bit bigger. And we're going to actually hit Control or Command R on your keyboard, okay? Control R or Command R on a Mac. And what you want to do is you're going to want to pay attention to this little node or this little arrow here. You guys see where it says 100%? Okay. Now what we were doing earlier was we were changing our speed here, okay? And it's really cool what you can do here. You can actually slow it down, right? As we saw earlier. And as you can see, it changed the speed here as well, and it matches the speed here. In fact, you could even freeze the frame by clicking that, and now it will actually freeze this part of the video wherever my playhead was, okay? So wherever my playhead was, you can actually freeze it at that moment too, okay? Let's undo by hitting Control Z. But like I said, we want to show how can you make certain parts of the clip different speeds, right? So we're going to reset this back. We're going to move our playhead to the very beginning, or actually maybe right in here in the middle somewhere. And then you see this little drop down arrow. If you click on that and you hit on Add Speed Point, what it's going to do is say, hey, at this point, make a note of it, because the speed is going to change at this point, okay? And then let's move our speed head or our playhead actually to another speed point area where we're going to speed this back up, maybe right here. And then we're going to click on that drop down again, and we're going to say, hey, speed point right here. I want this part to pick back up into normal, right? Now what we're going to do is we have these three gaps. We got 100% here, 100% here, and 100%. Now these are independent of each other. So if I click on this drop down right here and I change this to 25%, whoa, you'll see that first off, whoa, what's going on? Well, what happened was, since we slowed down the video clip, okay, we slowed down the video clip, the video now takes a lot longer to complete because it's slower. But then if you speed up a video clip, it will actually make it take place faster or shorter because it's moving faster and it's reaching its beginning and end point sooner. Okay, so now let's jump back into the software and let's see an application of this. So as you guys can see that this clip stretched because it takes a lot longer because it's moving a lot slower. So if we play this now, it takes a lot longer to get to the end because it's going at 25% speed here, okay? And then vice versa, if we undo what I did and we make this like speed change to like 400%, now you can see the clip is significantly shorter. You can see my playhead is left here in the dust by itself, right? So just keep in mind that when you start playing with speed times and changes on your clip, note that you are playing with time in general, okay? You're kind of manipulating things and how things happen in real time. And this is really useful because sometimes you always need a clip maybe to be just a little bit longer to match like the timing of a song, or maybe you need to be a little bit slower. Well, this is how you can really get everything to be just right, is because you can change the speed to adjust and adapt to whatever needs that you may have, okay? So you guys see that we have the different drop downs. We're going to change this now to 50%, and then you'll see this is going to go from 100%, and then it's going to go slow, and then it's going to go slow. Let's jump here ahead, and then boom, back to speed up, okay? That is a speed ramp. Now you probably wonder, well, Chris, what if, you know, I didn't want it to end like right here? What if I wanted to manipulate where, you know, this speed point is after you put it? Like, can I move this? Can I move this? Yes, you can. In fact, you notice on the top, let's actually get a little closer here. So you'll notice right here on the top of this speed point, you've got this little node, but then you got this other little smaller node too, okay? I'm going to show you what will happen if we drag the top one, okay? Watch what will happen. So if I click and drag it, oh, it's slowing down the clip even more. So actually you can get more precise speed changes without using the inspector here, but you can use it with the speed point by dragging and dropping the top node of the speed point. But we say we wanted to move it. So what if we wanted the slow motion to end here instead of here? Okay, so let's say we wanted it to end here. Well, instead of moving the top one, because if we move the top one, it's going to speed things up by making it go faster, right? That's not what we want to do. Let's hit Control Z to undo what we just did. What we want to do is we want to click on the bottom node of the speed point. And now what that's going to do is move the point at which it stops being at 44% here. Okay, so now you'll see, in fact, let's zoom out now so you can see a real application of this. Let's click that bottom node again and look at this. Now it's only going to be slow-mo for just a second, and then the rest of the clip is 100%. So if I hit play now, boom, slow motion, boom, back to normal. Okay, pretty neat, right? Okay, now there's one last thing I want to show you guys with speed ramping, and there's a whole lot more to this, but I'm trying to keep this really nice and simple, and I plan to do another video and get more into depth. Okay, what if we wanted just this end point, this end gap, to not be 100%? What if we wanted that to be, you know, a lot faster? Well, how do we change just this portion? We can't change, there's no speed point, right? There's no knobs to pull. So how do we control that one? Well, at the very end, if you hover your mouse right on the edge, normally you would get this icon, right? And that makes your clip longer or shorter, but that's not what we want to do. We want to make the clip faster or slower. So you notice that the clip has two parts. It has the clip portion here, but then it has this bar here above that has the clip name. If you come to the edge of this portion of the clip, you'll see these arrows pointing left and right, as you can see here. If you click that now and drag this, now you can get very specific with your speed changes on that last portion. Okay, in fact, you can do that right out the gate without having to go up to here as we did in the inspector. Okay, you can do that same thing. So let me show you guys. Let me go to another timeline here. Let's go ahead and drag and drop this clip in here. Let's go ahead and just slice it here because we don't need the rest of this. Cool. All right, now here we have it. We have this clip, right? We're gonna hit Control R again. It's at 100%. What if you wanted to be really quick and you just want to say, hey, I want it to be 109%, right? Boom, there's 109% by dragging and dropping this portion, this bar right above the clip after you hit Control R. Okay, that is exactly how you could do that. Okay, now another alternative, because I just thought about it and I'll go ahead and mention it. If you forget, if you're not a person that can remember commands, that's okay. You could just right click on the clip too, and you can go to read time controls here. Okay, and you can get to that same control module where you can control the time of a clip. So, and it tells you, hey, Control R does this. Okay, and Control D does the control, you know, the duration. Okay, so read time controls give you all the read time controls. Control R will give you this, and as you can see, you can get to that same thing by just right clicking, going up to, right clicking, control time or read time controls, and voila, you're right back here at the start. Okay, so I just threw a lot at you guys. I mean, we went through the multiple ways to control the time of a clip. I showed you guys how you can change different pieces of a clip and its time, and then I showed you how you can kind of, you know, get to that same menu of read time controls by right clicking or by hitting Control R or Command R on the keyboard. And I also showed you how you can do that in the inspector as well on an entire clip if you'd like. So there's so many different ways and things you can do with time in general, but I figured I would show you that just so you kind of have something to run with. Okay, so now you guys are pretty dangerous with that information. I look forward to jumping on to the next one, and then finally we can jump into compound clips and fusion clips. I think those are going to be really, really interesting, and I'll show you guys both of those and kind of show you the difference and what you can do with them. Okay, all right guys, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. See ya.